Well, actually, before I started Bellissima, I was a finance guy because that was what my degree was in, and I worked in the US for a while, working mutual stocks, and then I came and worked at Amber Research for about 2 years. But I knew before I hit 30 that I wanted to get into the food industry. So that's kind of what I did. I got up and left, and I first joined a friend of mine who wanted to start a restaurant, and that's where it all started with Kotu Station. And then I ran several other cafes and restaurants and food businesses, and then finally ended up with Bellissima. Yes and no. Easy in the sense I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do, and difficult in spite of knowing it was still a mental shift from what I was used to, working 9 to 5, working for somebody else. You have that stability, that routine, all that was out the window. And then also getting your family and friends and people around you adjusted is the hardest part, because it takes a long time for them to mentally adjust and to get used to the new you. It's really like taking on a new character almost. And that can be a very dissuading force in your life, because people are like, go back to your regular job. Because it took me a long time to get to getting this formula to work. And I've been more patient than I think the people around me. So 5 years feels extremely long, like 20 years, and extremely short, like 6 months at the same time. It's a really, really strange feeling. Yes, there have been lots of ups and downs. Thankfully, mainly ups with this particular brand. So when I first started, it was just out of necessity. Like, we branded the desserts that I was making, and my brother and I came up with this idea. And over time, it went from being cheesecakes to pavlovas to cookies to chocolates to all sorts of things. So it took a long time for us to stumble upon, rather, this biscuit pudding formula that seems to be working. And in the meanwhile, you know, there are financial ups and downs, and finally in this final run, it almost felt like my last chance, because I was completely broke on my bum, and I had to lease my car, which was the last asset to my name, and use that money to start up the business, well, restart the business essentially. And thankfully it paid off, because I think all the mistakes I made, all the lessons I learned were finally applied to get the results I wanted. So yeah, it's been a journey, and I hope, well, given what I've learned, it's an upward trajectory. Good question. You know what? I'm going to Google that. And, oh yeah, see, don't do it. No, totally kidding. Okay. If I had to answer that honestly, there isn't one golden rule that you can really apply. It's a collection of stuff, and I think you would gather your own wisdom about this along the way. And what works for one person may not necessarily work for another, but generally speaking, surround yourself with the right people, because you will never have the full set of skills that you need to make a successful business. Very, very rarely will that ever be true for any one individual. So surround yourself with people who know better than you, who have more experience, and who you trust, and they will help you grow. So that would be, I think, my number one piece of advice. And just as importantly, I would say you have to be sure of what you're getting yourself into. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, understand you're going to be living, breathing, dreaming, having nightmares about what you're doing. And if it's not something that energizes you and that you're passionate about, it's going to be something that's going to drain you, and you're going to hate doing it. So be absolutely sure, make sure you've soul searched and you're passionate about not just making money, because yes, it's good to be passionate about making money. After all, I need to run a business. That first you understand your business, it's something you're intimate with, and that the passion is there. So definitely, I think those two in tangent would more or less set you up for success 50-50. Better than starting out without anything. Well, I don't know if it'll actually pan out this way, but I would love to be known globally for one reason. My life's passion has always been to take Sri Lankan food out and let the whole world know about it. So to achieve that end, I think I need to be known outside of Sri Lanka. So as a means to an end, yeah, I hope I keep on that trajectory. I hope my name does grow outside of Sri Lanka and I can introduce everybody to the wonders of our cuisine. So that's what I hope. So let's see.